Good Friday afternoon, morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard our Friday market wrap-up here at Top Gun Options. Man, what an incredible week, from Jerome Powell and inflation to financial earnings to document dumps next to Corvettes in the president's garage. What an incredible week. But before we get airborne, folks, you have got to register for 3 live trade briefs. Actually, 4. Look, you just made money. 4 live trade briefs next week, starting Tuesday at 10 a.m. 4 live trade briefs, 17 through 20 January. You need to head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. That stands for full throttle, folks. War, inflation, recession, bear market. We're crushing it. We're having an absolutely fantastic time in this extremely volatile market all over the place, and we're just getting into Q4 earnings season. There is a lot to going on. I have a lot to brief you on. I am going to give you the stocks, the options, the indices that I'm targeting for max profit in 2023. And I'm going to have some. I'm going to blow you away. I'm going to do a lot of stuff next week, so you do not want to miss these. Hey, if you can't attend one of the briefs, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. or Wednesday night, we're going to do, I think, 8 p.m. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you access to the replays, okay? So access to the replays. I'm going to throw in an options pocket checklist that's worth $45 and a trade plan worth $55. Take a look at these over the weekend before you come to the live trade briefs next week, because I want to get you up to speed. I'm getting on an airplane here in a little bit in God's waiting room, Boca Raton, heading up to Chicago for Martin Luther King weekend with my son Jack. We're doing he is doing a hockey tournament. I'll be the hockey dad in the stands yelling. And then I'm back late Monday night. Getting airborne Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 free briefs. Go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Now let's get into it. What else is going on? Make sure you check out the Max Afterburner podcast, episode 50. You can listen to the Max Afterburner podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeart, wherever the cool kids listen to the podcast. You can just search Max Afterburner podcast, episode 50. I drop a pretty big bomb, ladies and gentlemen. What do I tell you? I tell you what I experienced on the medicine as to whether we're alone in the universe. It blew me away. It blew 5 decades of what I believed to be true, and it changed. Okay? I love the feedback I've been getting. I love the good, the bad. It's blasting off. Let's take a look at the Wiz drops a bomb. Blown away any recent podcast. I mean, hell, day 3 we're already up. I'm blown away because it's just such an incredible topic. If you've ever wondered, are we alone in the universe, and you're pretty damn sure of your answer, come listen to another point of view. The Max Afterburner podcast, episode 50. You can Google it, or, you can get it on YouTube. Max Afterburner podcast, episode 50. If you want to look at my ugly mug, or if you're working out or driving down the road and you want to listen, just go to Apple Podcast or Spotify. All right, here we go. You can't make this shit up. God has a sense of humor, right? Donald Trump, 30 FBI agents raid his home, classified documents. He's going to jail, prison. We finally got him. And Joe Biden did worse. What do you mean he did worse? Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, the ultimate declassification authority in the country is the President of the United States. You might not like it. It's the truth. If Donald Trump at 11:59:59 on the day he was leaving office was still president and wrote on a cocktail napkin, all the shit that I have right now is declassified, it is. Now, I get it, there's a formal, I don't care what the formal process underneath that is. Once the skipper says that magic word, it's done. The difference, ladies and gentlemen, is Joe Biden took a bunch of top secret shit as the vice president, who has 0 classification authority. So you can froth at the mouth all you want. All I'm getting at, and I'm laughing about this week, is equal protection under the law. If Trump's a piece of shit for doing that, then so is Joe Biden. And he's currently the president. Thank God. Merrick Garland had no choice. I mean, what? Seriously? Is this what we're going to do? But folks, God's got a sense of humor. Whether it's the George Floyd monument mural. Why don't you Google what happened to the George Floyd memorial? Struck by lightning. This Jeez. And oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, they found these documents when? Before the election. The most transparent administration in the history of this republic, quote unquote, hid it right in front of the election. They knew they were just as guilty as the former president, didn't say a word. You want to talk about election interference? Anyway, so that happened this week, which was pretty funny, and I just love watching people twist themselves into a pretzel saying, my guy is different, but your guy's the worst. Decision to arm ourselves or arm Ukraine. A 4-star admiral this week, and then the Secretary of the Navy, his boss, kind of reaffirmed it. We're out of ammo. Ladies and gentlemen, we are running out of ammo, and this admiral said, you know what, in the next 6 months, we could face a decision whether to arm us or Ukraine. We are running out of weapons. Joe Biden depleted our strategic petroleum reserve, again, right in front of the election. I got to bring gas prices down in front of the election so we can no election interference there, right? Strategic petroleum reserve is for what? Strategic petroleum reserve. It's in break glass in case of emergency, not in case of an election. But, ladies and gentlemen, U.S. defense officials are wringing their hands over the rapid depletion of U.S. ammo stockpiles. Yes, the U.S. has drained its munitions to fight a proxy war in Russia. Now we're going to have to cough up even more money to restock our own arsenal. Ladies and gentlemen, can you tell me what the point of NATO membership is if everybody's NATO? The Ukrainian ambassador. It's silly to pretend we're not going to become a NATO member. It's just logical. Ukraine is full of what? NATO weaponry. And the people are prepared. So what's the difference? Just give us a seat at the table. So somebody explain to me what NATO membership gives you. You get everything if you're not a NATO member, except, obviously, U.S. troops or British troops, literally, even though we are. Absolutely 1,000% there are British troops, there are U.S. troops in Ukraine. Come on. Folks, let me end this part of our Friday market wrap up with this. It's going to get worse. This war is spiraling out of control, lower and lower and lower with the nuclear power. You figure it out. You decide where this is going to go. I don't think it's going to end well. Current housing price bubble makes 2008 look quaint, folks. The housing market is popping. The jobs market is softening. Interest rates are climbing. Inflation is still raging, even though, quote, 6.5% this week. Isn't that weird how it came in right on target? Financials reported today. Goldman Sachs, boom, lost $3 billion on consumer lending push. Ooh, that ain't good. Anytime Goldman takes off their three-piece suit or their seersucker, they do stupid things. Wall Street firms push into Main Street has proven costly. Goldman, get back to what you're doing. Parties in the Hamptons and taking care of the rich, and your stock will go up. So we actually, I sent out a text and email alert with a Goldman Sachs bear call spread, a bearish trade on Goldman Sachs out to next Friday. I don't know if I got filled on it or not because my screen is taking forever to update. Let's go take a look at that. Nope, not yet. So Goldman Sachs, I'm looking at the 375, 377 and a half bear call spread. I don't know why I'm not getting filled here. Okay. Well, anyway, trying to get filled on this bear call spread out to next Friday because I'm selling into the financials. Why? Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan got a lift from interest rates, but the future. Remember, earnings are always about the forward guidance. When they say, here's how we did last quarter, it's over with. Nobody cares about how you did last quarter. It's all about what they say going forward. So they beat expectations, core lending income soars. But again, when they say, hey, and ladies and gentlemen, we're in a recession. I don't care what Joe Biden and Kamala did last year. They changed the definition of woman, but also the definition of a recession. 2 quarters in a row of negative GDP growth. Always the definition of recession, except last year when the Democrats don't like being in a recession. So anyway, so when they say, when JP Morgan says it'll be a mild recession, it might be for them because they're JP Morgan. For you, it's going to be a deep recession. The housing market, the jobs market, a shitstorm is coming in 2023. I hate saying that, but that's me talking. Now, if I'm Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, I love it. I can't wait for this year to suck in the market and the economy. I'm going to print money as we pound it into the dirt. Other people's stupidity is our profitability. So inflation, quote, slowed for the sixth straight month. CPI rose just 6.5 month from a year over. So year over year, it's coming in a little bit. But services CPI is at its highest in 40 years. Wages, something that the Fed's starting to look at. They can't say this publicly, folks, because it just sounds bad. But they want wages to start coming in. They want people to start losing their jobs. They can't tell you the truth. I will tell you the truth. Always. They want people to start making less money, spending less, and to pop this inflation bubble. Nobody from Warren Buffett and his other Muppet brother, what's his name, Charlie Munger, they've never traded or invested in this type of environment. Barreling into a recession. We are, because usually, if a recession's coming, what does the Fed do? They cut interest rates. They do QE, quantitative easing. What are they doing right now? Barreling into a recession, raising interest rates, tapering their balance sheet. So, folks, this is a storm. It's coming, and we're going to print money. Powell says this week, this was comical, we're not going to become a climate policymaker. For 2 years in front of the Democrats in the House and the Senate, this guy sat there and was what? Absolutely woke. This week, a day or two after the Republicans take the House, he sounds like what he should sound as the Fed chief. I got two mandates: price stability and inflation, full employment. But for the past 2 years, he had like a 2A or maybe even 3 to be woke and worry about the climate. And that's not your job, dude. The fact that he had to give a speech that kind of said what I've been saying for the past 2 years is bullshit was kind of comical. So that was funny. Middle of the year is going to be an absolute shit show. Why? Kevin McCarthy, the debt ceiling. Remember under Obama when the Republicans had that end of the avenue and he had the White House and it was this debt ceiling fight. It's like, we're going to go broke or the government shuts down. I hated it as an American. I love it as a trader. We're going to get long volatility rate in front of this, knowing the gang of 20 or whatever, they're going to default on our debt. It's going to be great. Not for the country, for our portfolios. I'm going to have some popcorn. We're going to be trading volatility. We're going to be printing money, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Finally, folks, up to the 200-day moving average, epic fail. Up to the 200-day moving average, fail. Up to the 200 moving average, fail. Up to the 200-day moving average, go higher. Not going to happen. Get ready for a just awful February. I guarantee it. Learn how to do this. It ain't rocket surgery, folks. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. That stands for full throttle. And I'm going to give you free briefs, man. I'm going to map all this stuff out, talk to you, dumb it down to my level, which is political science major, poor Irish Catholic kid from South Jersey. If I can do it, you can do it. We got little old ladies in tennis shoes here who are crushing it. You can too. Okay, so make sure you register. Go.topgunoptions.com/FT. Heading to Chicago here in a little bit. You guys have a great weekend. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Fights on, and namaste.